My question is to the Minister for Home Affairs. Can the Minister update the House on the operation in Weipa, and what other approaches to border security are there?
Call to the Leader of the House and the...
Thanks very much, Speaker. And I thank the member for Leichhardt, and I want to acknowledge the strong role that the member for Leichhardt has had in combating foreign fishing, and in particular in calling for the work of Border Force that's up there now in Operation Broadstaff. It's made an extraordinary impact, and some of those people who were trying to steal fish stocks from the locals up there in Leichhardt have discovered fairly suddenly that their vessels have been burnt, and have also discovered that those waters are there for the locals and not for those who are wanting to come from elsewhere. Some of those would have seen some comments from the opposition this morning. And let me start with this. Anyone who saw last night on the news that a number of people had tried to enter our country without a visa should know that by the time they woke up this morning, every single one of them had been removed from Australia. Every single one. Now, that simple fact did not stop members of those opposite claiming that the opposite was true. But the simple fact is every single one of those individuals who tried to enter Australia without a visa had been removed by morning, and those who had tried to assist them have been arrested. You know, there are two things. There are two things that the opposition right now is wanting to deliver for people smugglers that people smugglers would be tremendously grateful for. People smugglers want there to be footage of Australian voices claiming that people smuggling will work, and those opposite are providing it. And the second thing that people smugglers want is access to information. They want access to information about operations and surveillance, which is why I was surprised that only this week in the Senate, all three right-wing parties voted with the Greens to make sure that surveillance information would be made available to people smugglers. All three of them voted. For a long time it has been accepted that any information about surveillance contracts, any information about operations with Operation Sovereign Borders, that there were good national security reasons for that not being made public. But when different occasions have occurred and briefings have been sought in private, that has occurred. But instead, under this Leader of the Opposition, he thinks it's okay for the information that the people smugglers want to be made public and handed over directly to them. He's the friend they wanted that previous opposition leaders haven't been.
Tony Burke stands up in question time and turns a question about the Weipa operation into a robust defence of the government's border record. He highlights Operation Broadstaff, where Border Force has cracked down on illegal foreign fishing. Some of those vessels have been burnt at sea, a clear message that Australian waters belong to locals, not overseas poachers. Matt Smith from Leichhardt has been pushing hard for exactly this kind of action, but the bigger moment comes when Burke addresses the recent boat arrival near Weipa. A group made it ashore, wandered into town, and were seen at a bakery and near the pub. The opposition called it a failure. Burke fires back. Every single one of them was removed from Australia by the next morning. The alleged people smugglers were arrested. Quick removals are welcome, but the fact the boat reached the beach and the group got into town before being picked up raises real questions about deterrence. That kind of footage is exactly what people smugglers hope for. Burke then accuses the coalition of giving smugglers what they want by pushing for more public information on surveillance operations. Strong words from the minister. At the end of the day, Australians want borders that stop these problems before they hit the mainland, not just fast cleanups after the fact. The fishing crackdown shows enforcement can work when it's serious. The real test is keeping that same pressure across every part of border security.